at the moment it's on page load, and that's the default. So as soon as this page loads up, wherever it is, through a browser or whatever, boom, it's going to play. It's going to take 1 second to play, and it's going to play one time, and it's not going to loop. They're the key things that's going on here. So what other ways can we get this thing to play? So let's have a look. On page click, on click self, on rollover self. Okay, so only some of these things are going to be appropriate for this type of animation. There's many different types of animations. There's rotating and all sorts of things, okay? So some of them are going to be more appropriate than other. So, hang on a sec. Sorry, guys. On click self is, and I'll explain what I mean. On click self is not going to be appropriate for an item that's starting off the page. So if you've got a heading that's flying in from off the page, you obviously can't click it. So how is it going to fly onto the page? That's uncool, right? Don't put on click self for something like that. Okay. On page click is not going to be appropriate where you've got a few things going on, because that's click anywhere and it'll animate it. Okay, so you could have a blank page and then someone clicks it and everything flies in. Well, that might be what you want, but typically on page click, I don't think you'd use it very much, would you? Do you think? Maybe there could be. Maybe not. I'm sure you guys, you probably don't care by the look of it. On page, that's why I think about things like that all of the time. Why would you use? Why is it even there on page click? That's ridiculous. I'm sure someone will think of something.
Can I ask for the self part?
Yes. On click self. So that's click on the object itself. So, okay, that's the important one. So it's off the page. You can't click on it itself. So you won't do that. On rollover self, now that's an important one, because you might want something to spin around or something when you mouse over it, or you might want it to move out of the way or fly off the screen or something like that. Just when someone's not even clicking, when they just mouse over, and we'll do an example of this. It's really a little bit of just a fun, I guess, a fun animation. So if you're designing, say, a children's book and there's some discovery, you want them to discover things on the page, and I don't know, mouse around and things fall, words fly in or something like that. It's just a rollover self thing, might reveal other animations as well. So that can be a really powerful one, I think, the rollover self. The page click, I'm not so sold on. But you can have more than one. You can actually have multiple ones selected. So on page load and on click. So that's a trap, because when you're starting to design animations, and you'll see what I mean in a minute, that you might say, I'm going to choose this one, but the previous one stays on as well. You have to uncheck them and check new ones, because sometimes you might say, I want it to be on page load, but then I also want it to animate when someone clicks it so they can redo it, if you know what I mean. So animates in and then click just so you can see it again, because it was fun the first time, so it'll be much more fun the second time. Like a dad joke. Who's a dad? Yeah. It's much more fun the 500th time with the dad joke. So we'll get rid of that. On page load it is. How many times? Let's make it a bit longer, so it's going to take 2 seconds this time. We'll play it once, we won't loop it. Looks good. The speed, which is the next one, is from the preset, but we can change that. Now, a little bit of a tip on the speed thing, and it's kind of a little bit hidden, but it's also a good thing to understand what ease in and ease out means. We can adjust this, okay? So see on the spine of our animation there, the green spine, that's the path that it follows along. See the little dots along it? And they're spaced out quite a way at the top, and then they get really close together until they're super close at the bottom. That indicates the speed or the frames in that animation. So the first frame, it's going to move that far between that dot and that dot. So it's going to be moving quite quickly. Do you understand? Yeah?
Where did this line come from?
So as soon as I applied the animation preset, boom, there it was. You select the shape. So it's going to be going really quickly, and then start slowing down as those frames come closer together. So it's easing into position. So I go shoo, and then ease in. Okay? But if I was to change that to ease, perhaps it's on ease out, ease in, it reverses it. So slowly and then quickly at the end. Okay? So the ease in and the ease out, and then you can have it going faster and slower through the middle. Alright, so that's what those little dots indicate, or none is just a constant speed, and you can see the little dots in there. So it gives you a bit of an indication as to what you've chosen, and we will just take it back to what it was. And then we can preview it, of course, and we're going to do this a few times tonight. We're going to need to preview it. There's a preview panel here, and we'll just bust this guy out. How did I trigger it? Was it on page load? Yep. So we'll just hit the play button. Just it slowly went in. Fast, because the dots are further apart, and then slowly into place. So we've already learnt something, haven't we? Very good. Let's continue. Properties. Okay. A little more bit. Okay. So to the current location, from the current location to the current appearance and so forth. So it's changing colour, changing shape, etc. Okay. Rotation. So we can have something rotating as it goes, or if it's staying in spot, fade in, and it can hide until it's animated. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean there. Let me show you that. That's an important one actually. There's our start, and we're going to say hide until animated. Okay, so if we do our preview, we'll hit play. It's hidden until it animates. Okay, so that's good. And then we say not on page load. We're going to turn that off. It has no event at the moment. We're going to trigger this with a separate button. We're going to have a play button for our animation. So we'll get some text, and we'll say, I'd like to see a star, please. Put the P in. And let's put a colour in the background, eh? So, this is one of the tiny buttons, okay? See this guy here? That creates a trigger for your animation. So you select your animation, in this case the star, and say, what would I like people to click to play it? So get this guy here, zoom in, that little guy there, and then you click. So it gives you a little target, and you click on the thing that you would like to animate. And then it pulls up and says, oh, you want that to be a button? Oh, yes, okay, I'll play the stuff. Does it for you. So should we test it? Okay, I'm glad you said yes. Click. Oh, there it is. Wow, now we've triggered our animation. Am I going too slow? Too fast? What about, let's ask the young lady over there. Fine? Keep going. Good. We'd like to make her feel comfortable because she's both new and a beginner. So, very good. Let's get out of this simpleton document and over to this far more advanced one. Okay. So this guy here, right? Let's have a look at what we're going to build. So we'll do a little preview here, where I've got a rollover button there that animates in a drop-down menu that triggers the multi-state object on the right-hand side. What do you think about that? I don't think we're quite ready yet, but we're going to be there in just a minute. We will do that. But what I ideally would like to do is have my logo spinning as soon as my mouse goes over it, like a sort of thing. Yep. So we'll do like a mouse over animated logo, and then we'll do this drop down menu because it's so much fun. So we'll zoom in here. Click it. Right. So it's a group of stuff, whatever, who cares. How are we going to animate it? So in this case, let's not choose a preset. Let's just do something altogether. We're just going to rotate the thing, right? So if I choose the pop-down menu and you have a look under there, you go, well, it's only to do 180 degrees one way or the other. Then we're going to end up with an upside-down logo. That's insane. Has anyone tried to do this yet? Something like this? Okay. I'm letting you in on the stuff that is difficult to figure out. Why would you just do that when you can quite easily type in 360 degrees right over the top? It's one of those anomalies that I wonder, why wouldn't you put 360 degrees in there as an option? Just an option, and then we'll loop it, right? And we don't want it on page load because it's just going to be drive everyone nuts. So let's do on rollover self. So this is like, and then not on page load. So you could turn the other one off, and then let's reverse it on roll off. So it stops it after we roll off, like a toggle. So it's like a discovery thing, like I was talking about before. People discover things on your page. A children's book would be a perfect example. Now I'm just hoping that I've remembered everything right. I've anchored it in the centre, so it's going to rotate from its centre rather than the top left, or even though that'd be fun anyway. But we'll do that, and we'll go for the preview. Sometimes I've got to press the play. I'll press the play. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. That is fun though, isn't it? Can you guys send me all the links to stuff you're doing? So another rotating logo. I've seen this. This is good fun. Do you think you could do that? Yeah. It's not too hard. What about my friend? What's your name?
Nicole.
Do you think you could do that, Nicole?
Yes.
Yeah, easily. Yep. Let's do this little exercise together then. Okay, let's get this one sorted out. So I think this is going to be fun. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bust this open. Okay, we're going to recreate all of this stuff, right? So we just turn it back into regular old objects, so you can see how it's done. We're going to step through it piece by piece, so that we're going to release all these states to objects. Now we should have. Did I say release all states to objects? That's what I meant to do. Okay. So now we've just got a bunch of photographs. Okay? That's what we've got there. All stacked one on top of the other. So that little gallery that I was playing through, really easy to do. Okay, we'll start off with that really quickly. So I've got 5 or so pictures here, photographs or whatever. They don't need to be linked objects. They can be anything. They can be bits of text, just grouped together or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Okay. I'll line them up. They don't have to be aligned, but it would look insane to have a gallery that was not all lined up. Pictures be jumping all over the joint. Be really weird. So let's align them up. We'll use the align palette panel for that. Move them into spot. Get onto the page.